What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Serje podcast. Once again, this podcast was brought to you by M&T Professional Cleaning Service. If you're in the San Antonio, Austin, or Houston area and are interested in both commercial or residential power washing or window cleaning, give them a call. Their information will be in the description below. Mention the podcast and get 10% off your first cleaning. So, welcome back, everybody. And without further ado, let's introduce my guest today, Barry Lyons.
How's it going?
So Barry works at Wayland Baptist. He went there. He played football. Got his degree from there. What was your degree on?
Fitness management and specialization in personal training.
Sweet, sweet. And for those of y'all that don't know Barry, he is a sponsored athlete as well, right?
Yes, sir, for EVA, Elevated Vision Apparel.
Sweet. And he has a promo code he's coming in with. So we'll leave all that in the description below so you guys can go get some pretty sick apparel for a better price. All right. So, Barry, you came in here, right? And you started just with football, right? You came here for that, or was there something before Wayland?
Um, Primarily, it was really for football. Kind of just moved all over the place. At first, I went to Texas Southern University, which is a D1 AA school in Houston. Then I had to transfer to Tyler Junior College, and then end up in Wayland, where my brother and me just kind of prayed on, and just kind of God just kind of brought me to Wayland, and just really kind of pursue my career into football, and especially in college. So.
Sweet, man. I know being an athlete is tough in college, and I mean, you went through the whole D1 process.
hmm
So let me ask you what's the difference between the D1 versus the NAIA?
Well, I would say is really the difference between D1 and NAIA is really the facilities and the coaches. Everybody kind of just work a little differently. But I promise you, the competition is just the same. The practices is run a little differently. Most likely, probably the meetings and stuff like that. But to the point is really, it's just all of it is fast paced. Everybody continues to really just hit hard. Um, definitely.
Get
That's
stronger as they go.
yeah, really. So, but that's only really the difference.
Sweet. So, I mean, for kids out there, junior seniors in high school and have these big D1 dreams, and there's nothing wrong with that.
hmm
There's nothing wrong with that because I'm a big believer in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you can achieve anything.
yeah.
But for those guys who do have the NAIA offers, the D2 offers, the D3
hmm
offers, like you definitely suggest like go where it best suits them, go where the money is, go.
Honestly, I would say, first off, who has the bigger scholarship for you? Because in the end of the day, you're going to school, playing football for your education. Two is that if you do get a good offer at a D2, D3, or any I will say take it too. Short story, I actually got a friend that went to USC, and his mentor was actually Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens actually told him not to go D1. He told him to either go 2 or D3 if he really wanted to go to the league.
Okay.
And he ended up actually getting some scholarship at USC, but he actually all 5 years didn't step not one foot on the football field. And so he told him just go somewhere we can actually play, get some highlights, and make a name for yourself to these small schools, and end up being one of the Hall of Fames for that school, and be a legend
Man,
for
that's
them.
crazy.
Yeah, so
That's
this is
awesome.
really
Yeah.
crazy, really big. So I kind of learned from that, and even with NAIA, Langston Arizona Christian University, they average about two or three people to the league every year. So.
Sweet. And I mean, NFL, right? Going from college to NFL, that kind of just falls a lot into the player as well. The amount of time that because I mean, football is different than other sports just
hmm
because of the main fact that you guys have 6 a.m. lift, practice, and then whatever goes on at night, right? So there's those people that actually find the extra time in between everything
hmm
to be able to work in and reach those extra goals that they want.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it is going to take a lot of time to really kind of just grind through that process, man. Because, a lot of people, they see all that on TV and even in movies and stuff like that, where they kind of see the easy way, but it's really the hard way too. It's a process, and you have to trust that process. You have to grind it out on the weekends. You have to grind it out at nighttime. But I promise you, it's very doable.
Most definitely, whenever everyone is hanging out and just chilling, that's the time you got to take advantage of and
hmm
kind of work that, get that extra mile, get those extra reps in.
Yep.
Talking about reps, you're pretty good at those, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about your the fitness side of things. So when did you start all this fitness?
Well, honestly, I kind of started all this fitness, I would say around um, really my freshman year of college. Really, I started as a business major, but I just wanted to just help people in some way or some fashion. And honestly, kind of started off with me. I I went through a lot of things, so I kind of started home, had some money with my parents and stuff like that. But it was a time where I was actually homeschooled my last senior year of high school, and moved to Texas from Los Angeles, California. And then I remember I had nobody to train me. I had no football coaches or anything like that. And so I used the community weight room in the neighborhood. And I was like, man, I need to figure out what to do with these 35-pound dumbbells, with
How to make it
everything
more
else, how to make
difficult?
it work for me, running on the trails at the park and stuff like that. And he was like, you know what? If I can teach myself, then I can teach others. Google is my best friend, YouTube is my best friend, and everything else. And I was like, you know what? I'm I'm progressing to a point where having a passion for it, and so I got to a point myself my sophomore year of college. I was like, I want to switch my major to fitness management and really kind of help people and make money at the same time too. So,
Exactly. Yeah. No, because that's the best thing in the world. Because with fields like being a personal trainer
hmm
or being a psychologist or things of that nature, the money isn't the best in some spots, right?
hmm
But the point is that you wanna help people and
hmm
impact people, and of course you need an income
yeah,
while you're
of
doing all
course.
that to live. But it's great when somebody can find their passion
hmm
and how to help others at the same time while still bringing that income necessary to live.
Yes, sir. And I wanted to be happy too. A lot of people, I saw people as my parents, family, friends, whatever it is, not happy of what they're doing in life. And so I wanted to figure out what can I not just be happy in, but making other people happy in the results that they're getting.
Most definitely. So are you doing any kind of like online coaching on the side or things of that nature?
Right now it's in the works. I'm actually working on my own website so that way I can have my own workout plans for people that want to have a workout plan at home in the gym, whatever it is. And so I will actually be launching that in the beginning of March.
Oh, sweet
Yeah,
man. So we'll be on the lookout for that. I'll definitely shout it out whenever that time comes.
most definitely.
But no, that's crazy. That's awesome. But with through that, right? Is it gonna be like just your business right there? That's gonna be the start of like Barry Lyons online coaching, or
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, just came up with the name for it. It's gonna be called Life, which means Lions Impact Fitness Evolution. And so
sick.
that's something I've been thinking about for a long time. That's something that my brother kind of helped me with. That is actually serving in Iraq right now too, as well. So
Shout out to our troops out there.
yes, sir.
So man, that's crazy. That's awesome, dude. And I'm glad to finally hear it.
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah, man.
know, hey, so when I started the podcast, right, I told people my definition of success, right,
hmm
and I was like, you're happy, you're stable, and you're just able to live every day without struggle or worries of a big magnitude.
hmm
So why don't we talk about how you started your story, right? On you were homeless, and then you were stable a little bit, and then you had the 35-pound dumbbells. That was all that till now.
Yeah. So you just want to kind of just me to explain my story about from
Yeah,
the get go.
yeah.
Yeah. So basically, just so y'all can just kind of get a more understanding, I have a little bit of different perspective in life. I was actually born in Philadelphia, lived in Jersey, lived in Texas for a little bit, and I moved to LA till I was about 11 years old. I'm also a preacher's kid, and so my dad the reason why my dad and us moved to LA is because we was really good friends with Will Smith. Kind of knew him since 6 years old. Been to Thanksgivings, been to a whole bunch of events with him, and Will
Sweet.
Smith kind of just asked my dad, you know what, how about you just kind of start a church in LA? Of course, the lifestyle's a little different from LA and stuff like that, so there was some rough times in there and stuff like that, so we had to end up leaving. But for the most part, coming from LA and transition to to Texas, I was actually before I actually went to Wayland, me and my brother was actually sleeping on the floor, sharing links of hot dogs from the fridge, and having to share of
Yeah.
have a sharing a half a jar of peanut butter, and just coming from that, and being homeless and living to couches, living house to house and stuff like that. It was a very hard time for me, but I had to make sure that I only put food on my plate, but on my brother's plate too, because we're only 14 months apart, so we're basically twins in that matter. But I was just really hungry for success. I didn't want to give people ammunition to actually be like, you know what, Barry failed at that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to actually have a drive and show people like, listen, you can come from nothing. You can come from something, then come from nothing, and then make your way up. Because everybody has their failures, but you can learn from it too as well. And so I'm just very thankful from just the testimony that I have. I'm very thankful for what God put me through and the struggles that I did go through, because it made me the man who I am. It made me the man who I'm supposed to be for my wife. And then, also, I'm about to have a son in June. My wife is about 5 months pregnant. So to be able to really just have a perspective of everything success and even failure too, I can bring that to my son as well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I like how you said you can come from something and then be something as
Hmm.
well, or come from something to nothing and right back to something.
Yeah.
It all comes down to really what you want. And a lot of people want to hear things and hope that a flip just switches
Hmm.
in, or a switch just flips, sorry,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in their brain, and they're like, that's it, I'm doing this.
Hmm.
Which I think that's where most people mess up. And I know for me personally, I wanted to start the podcast, and I had it in mind for a long time,
Hmm.
but I was always scared of what other people might think, this, that, and third. And then Dr. Mora was actually the one that was like, "Do it! Like I will. I'm telling you, you need to do it.
Hmm.
Your vision's great, but you got to put it into perspective." My dad listened to a few of them, and he goes, "Dude, like don't give up on this."
Hmm.
Because what me and a lot of people I know, what we fell at is the fact that we start something, we don't see it blow up right away,
Hmm.
and we just like, okay, man, and it was cool, but whatever.
Yeah. Just kind of
And
crash.
exactly. But there's something that my dad told me. He goes, you have to have a vision. You
Hmm.
have the vision to do it, but then you need a vision
Hmm.
for the future of it.
Hmm.
So right now, pretty much, I'm working for Wayland, going to school and doing this.
Hmm.
I'm able to take care of myself. I'm able to pretty much have what I need to take care of the podcast.
Hmm.
And then I see it slowly growing, with the event that I'm trying to host. For those of y'all that don't have me on social media, pretty much what I'm doing is I am going to march from here down to Lubbock, so that way I can pretty much do the physical labor part of things. So you guys, in hopes that the listeners and the viewers and all that kind of stuff, they're motivated to donate to this organization called Girls Who Conquer, right?
Hmm.
What their mission is pretty much to empower girls, bring them together, empower them with the tools, as well as share their wisdom and give them what's necessary to be successful in life.
Yeah.
And I mean, that when I heard that, I was like, that's great. This group of women are taking time out of their life to
Hmm.
impact the next generation.
Yeah.
And that's what got me hooked on it, right?
Hmm.
And pretty much the stats behind it is that every 98 seconds someone is a victim of sexual assault
Hmm.
or sexual violence, and every 11 minutes is a child. So in hoping of combining all these smiles that we'll be walking, man, that we just show the people, like, one, someone else cares.
Hmm.
Two, we're trying to speak for the unspoken. And three, hopefully help them raise some money enough to like impact 60 girls' lives, 600 girls' lives, however many, right?
Hmm.
But they had that vision and they didn't give up on it. If they had to bring it out of their own pocket, they did. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Hmm.
And hearing your story kind of just motivates me even more. Just because it's so true. Like, it doesn't matter what you come from. It
Nope.
doesn't matter what your parents do. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter what your grandparents did, man. Like, build your own legacy.
Yeah.
And that's something huge that people are kind of like wanting to do or afraid to do. I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously you just had it in you to do it.
Hmm. And that, I mean, and the hardest thing that I really learned in reality is that um, not everybody got that deal inside them. It's something that you really have. I always talk to my wife about is you need to soul seek. You know what I'm saying? You really need to look down in yourself and really kind of recognize yourself like, man, am I fit for this or I'm not? Can I do this or can I not? And you have to come to a point in your life like, you know what? Forget about all the failures. Forget about all the, because you got family and friends that's also going to talk you down, either in front of you or behind you, and you have to find the ways like, you know what, I got to get through this. I got to get this done no matter what. That's honestly, that's the main reasons why I even joined EVA, not because the whole sponsorship and stuff like that, but really kind of just elevating your vision for everything, with this in the classrooms in your career, with this athletics, whatever it is. You have to elevate your vision for things to actually happen in your life. If you don't, because everybody has a vision, but can you elevate it to make things happen? And that's I think that's the most incredible thing that anybody can really just kind of, feel.
I completely agree with you, man. And I know, like, checking them out.
Mhm.
Uh, Side note to that, it's like part of their profit
Mhm.
goes to charity too,
Yeah.
which is even better.
Mhm.
Even more awesome that someone's not only worrying about themselves
Yeah.
getting their product out there, but hey, let's go ahead and put this to people that need it too.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't find every day.
No, you don't.
And I think that's great because like I said, man, the whole point of this podcast was to like share everybody's stories that I
Mhm.
could in order to impact. And like I remember one of my friends told me, he goes, hey, you can't make money out of this unless you have X amount of like
Mhm.
downloads, this, that, and third. I was like, hey man, look, I had like 2 episodes up, and I
Mhm.
was like, these 2 episodes, like 70 people have listened to it,
Mhm.
right? That's an audience right there. If
Yeah.
I impact one person, I did my job.
Yeah. That's all that matters. Is really impacting one person at a time, because I mean, at the end of the day, when the money comes, it's just really a bonus.
Exactly. And so with that, right, I told the listeners, if you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm no professional, but I'm
Mhm.
ears.
Yeah.
I'm ears that are like willing to listen.
Mhm.
And man, that thing kick started everything for me.
Mhm.
I I got a handful of people that communicated me, whether email, whether I made a phone call with them, all that kind of stuff, and they share their stories with me. And the crazy thing about it was that all of them were victims to either sexual or physical abuse,
Mhm.
right? But I'll share with you one story, right? I won't say any names, but this person was a victim of sexual violence, right?
Mhm.
She went to go tell and pretty much was shut down because it was in the workplace and the dude was like cool with the guy that did it, and he was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I don't believe you." You know? Completely made her shut down, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, she had to change her whole life because of this,
Mhm.
which is not fair.
No, it's not.
Right? It's not fair. Like, how is it that this person is taking all the punishment compared to somebody else?
Yep.
Another story, dude. Like, this person was being physical abused for years by their partner. They didn't say anything. It
Mhm.
literally took a family member to go in and try to save them
Mhm.
from it. Like, I understand being in love and all this kind of stuff, but I feel like once it gets to a certain point,
Yes.
and it's just dangerous, right? At the
Mhm.
end of the day, it's dangerous. But if they're not seeking out help or counseling, then they shouldn't be together,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um,
Totally agree.
yeah, but that's what kickstarted everything. I was like, no, like, I'm able to speak for the unspoken, even if it's to a crowd of 50, 60 people.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. I can affect someone, I can impact somebody,
Mhm.
and I can literally be motivating the next person that's going to be in charge of the next anti
Mhm.
like domestic violence programs, or
Mhm.
organization. So that's why we're kind of doing this, to show people that, hey, you can do it, whether it's you walking a mile,
Yep.
or you walking 98 miles.
Mhm.
Anything will that you do will start your legacy and be able to help somebody else.
Yep.
And I see that in you every day too. Like, you work out, you invite anybody to come out and work out with
Yep.
you. You invite anybody in pretty much anything that's going to make you successful. You're willing to open wings and take
Yeah.
anybody that wants under your wing. And with that, like, obviously you had a rough background, right?
Mhm.
So where does that caring for other people come from you, man?
Honestly, I'm gonna just be straight honest. It kind of just came out of nowhere, you know. I kind of looked at my own situation like, you know what? You know, a lot of people like to blame, like, oh, well, I'm this because my parents did this or my brother did this to me and stuff like that. I said, you know what? I can't use my circumstances as an excuse. If I'm not being cared for, why not can I be a light to other people, you know? Me personally, I wish it really just came with I wish I had that. And so me, it's like I can't just be complaining. I wish I had that if I don't give that to others. You see what I'm saying? So,
Completely.
you know, it's like that's why I always take. You know, people say, "Man, let me work out with you, this and that." I'm not worried about charging them or anything else. Like, man, come on, if you can handle the workouts, then come work out with
Yeah,
me.
if you can handle the workout, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, I'll love to be you know, a bigger brother to everybody else, and really kind of just you know use those workout times and those workout sessions not just to kind of you know, put people in shape or give them results, but kind of just be that person that they can, you know, lean on and I can give advice to and everything else because in the end of the day, everywhere I go is ministry. And so if I can use, you know, personal training and everything that I'm in for ministry and to really kind of help people, then I'm going to use it to my max. You know, I will seek the last second just to really just kind of help people, you know, there's some people that don't like to really talk about things and this and that. But I want to just let them know that I'm here for them no matter what. That's just from me and my brother's perspective that we went through a lot of things that we couldn't really just speak about. And we wish we could have spoke about it a little bit earlier, but just kind of give people the chance to really kind of just vent.
No, that's awesome, man. I know from a personal perspective, venting actually helps a lot.
Yes, it do.
Venting can make a whole difference in a day, you know.
Hmm.
So I know you're religious and you have
Hmm.
your own perspective on that too, right?
Hmm.
But do you ever meditate? You
Oh
know?
yeah, I definitely I meditate every morning. I'm not a morning person though. I try to wake up and do it a little bit earlier, around
Yeah,
6
most
a.m.
definitely.
But I definitely give it the chance to meditate, to pray, really really hard. I am a very spiritual person. Also, my shower is my sanctuary. You know,
Yeah.
this is where I'm washed off. You know, the end of the day, clearing my head and everything else, and really kind of talking to Yah. And so it's just I think meditation is a great thing.
No, most definitely because I started a couple months back, dude, and it's made such a big difference on
Yes.
my attitude. Like I would snap so easily to
Mhm.
anybody that was trying to be negative to me.
Yep.
And the worst thing about that was that like if someone was to with their comment poke me once, I was gonna poke them 20,000 times
Yeah.
back, you know? Like I it got to the point where I was like, I'm such a likable dude
Mhm.
and people trust me so much. I was like, I can literally,
Flip. Yep.
ruin your year
Yep.
with comments. And then I was like, caught myself. I was like, geez,
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
is all this I'm saying?
Yep.
Oh, just because someone said my hair needed to be combed, anything stupid
Anything
like
little
that.
or your shoes is untied.
Exactly. I was like, man, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
But for a while, I was going to counseling,
Mhm.
and that was helping, but people look at counseling so negatively,
Yes, they
because
do.
they think that oh, that should be your last resort.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, no, dude,
Mhm.
counseling is great.
Yeah, I mean, some people look at it as also an embarrassment. It's not something to be embarrassed. You know, getting help should not be an embarrassment. It should be an accomplishment because a lot of times people can't really go to certain things for help. And if you can have a chance to really get some counseling, man, take it with 110%.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what, man. Well, first, like when I met my fiance now,
Mhm.
I was a mess.
Mhm.
I needed help in every single way, spiritually and here in the physical world too,
Mhm.
But man, like she grabbed me from that deep hole that I was in
Mhm.
with my anger, brought me out, and that's how my counseling session started.
Mhm.
She would make me talk about my feelings, and my family knows this. When she met my family, she told them that too. She goes, he hates talking about his feelings, but I'll sit him down and make him tell me, and that's how my counseling
Yeah.
started, and then she was the one that was like, hey, you should, start going to counseling,
Yeah.
all this other stuff. So I started going regularly, and it helped,
Mhm.
and there's been times where I someone has told me a comment like trying to poke at me,
Hmm.
and I know it's on purpose, not hallucinating this.
Yeah, you know.
I just know they're trying to get a reaction out of me. And you know what? I just hit them with the most cliche things in the world. I'm like,
Yeah.
everyone with their own, or
Hmm.
these things happen.
Yeah.
Like I'll I'll what happens for me is the reaction will happen inside of me, right?
Hmm.
Whatever I want to say happens inside of me, right?
Hmm.
Then I think about it. The bomb has already gone off in me.
Yeah.
I already know what I want to say.
Yeah.
I think about it. I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool to think. And then
Hmm.
I just come out and I'm like, hey, let me hit you with some
Yeah.
positivity.
Yeah.
So that completely changed my outlook in life and my
Yeah.
mind. And then I started meditating, and I just saw it as a way to like really start recentering it,
Hmm.
recentering my day, recentering all that kind of stuff. I was listening to the Bear podcast.
Hmm.
He's a big YouTuber, and him and his fiance are doing one now, and so he actually put out the idea, and I started doing it,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh man, this helps.
Yeah.
So that, along with my Bible study, along
Hmm.
with church, and along with all these things, like, it's just great.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. But yeah, I didn't know you meditated.
Oh yeah, I meditate. Actually, I like to study about the brain and psychology stuff like that. I was actually watching a YouTube video a few nights ago how basically if you just close your eyes and actually look up towards your forehead and breathe about 5 times, and I've been pretty much doing that from then on. But I always meditated even before that, but just kind of find different ways how to meditate to kind of get a different perspective.
Just
So.
breathing exercises are pretty good too.
Hmm.
So I didn't know any of that either. But hey, man, I know you're a pretty busy person.
Yes.
I mean, you're always on the go. If
Yes.
it's for work or for EVA, shooting a commercial, shooting
Yeah.
photo shoot, things like that, right? Let me ask you something. How do you fit everything on your schedule?
Make time for it.
Make time for it.
How I put this is, I nobody. If you have time for sleep, your body's eventually going to have time for sleep, and so you have to make yourself. You know, I'm going to make time for all this work because at the end of the day, I learned this from my granddad. Um, take care of your 20s so that way your 30s can be great. Take care of your 30s, then you take care of your 40s. You take care of your 40s, you take care of your 50s and stuff like that. And so I'd rather stress myself all the way through my 20s to make things happen in my life, not just for my wife, but my future son. But for the most part, it's really just kind of making time for it. There's going to be times where I'm uncomfortable making time for it, but I know it needs to happen. And so especially in relationships. If you really want to be with that
Most
person,
special, yeah.
I find out I really had a whole bunch of time when I first met
Exactly.
Rose. So I was like, man,
Yeah.
I really did make the time for her. So I was like, damn, well, how couldn't make the time for my career with entrepreneurship and stuff like that? And so I really do believe that everybody do have time, no matter how early, how late it is. You got to just make it happen and get it done.
No,
You know.
exactly, because you're at work
Mhm.
8 hours of your day, right?
Yeah.
So you work for the
A minute.
admissions.
Yeah, the admissions office.
All right,
Yes.
sweet. So you pretty much help with recruiting and all that kind
Mhm.
of stuff. That's awesome, man. And it's crazy because, so let me do the quick math real quick, and this isn't
Yeah.
only on the
Yeah.
weeks on the weekdays, right? Because I've seen you working things on weekends.
Oh yeah, I just work
Just
Saturday.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So like, you got 40 hours, right?
Mhm.
That are devoted directly to
Yeah.
work. That's not counting the extra ones that you got to put
Yeah.
in,
Mhm.
right? So let's say you put in an extra 20 hours a week, right?
Okay.
For it, just that's 60 hours, right?
Mhm.
So 24 times 7, 168.
Uh
You're
huh.
already taking out 60. You only have 108 hours for
Mhm.
marriage, for your
Yes.
personal business, for your brand,
Yeah.
for all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and sleep
Yeah. And
and
sleeping.
eating,
Yeah.
but you find the ways to do it. you know I know personally I need to like write what I'm gonna do out. I've been like doing to-do lists of every single day,
Yeah.
and that's helped out immensely.
Uh huh.
But do you have calendars or any of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
I definitely I do need the calendar. I have it right next to my door every time I go out, so I can just look at the calendar. Okay, this is what I have today. This is what I have tonight. This is what I need to do. But you're totally right about the whole thing of you know marriage, is still a bigger thing too. I still have to take care of that, I
Right.
still have to take care of personal training at the same time too. And also I got to take care of myself mentally and spiritually. Like I have to find time to read, one thing I do actually before I go to sleep, I have to read a chapter of a book or I have to listen to a motivational speech before I go to sleep. So that way it's working through my subconscious, and so that way I can be more comfortable doing those things throughout my schedule.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of like motivational speeches. I'm a huge fan of books. Now, I
Yeah.
was not. I was not like when I was a kid and I should have been.
Uh huh.
I say kid, but I'm only 20, but like when I was younger.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I should have been a fan of this, I wasn't until now, right?
Hmm.
It all started with this book called Dude's Guide to Manhood.
Okay.
Sick book.
Uh
I
huh.
loved it, right? And then it moved on to the five love languages,
Hmm.
and from there it moved on to different topics like Born to Run,
Hmm.
which is pretty much this book about a tribe in Mexico that just runs and can run like 500 miles in two
Oh
days.
wow.
I know that's sick,
Yeah, that's
right?
crazy.
But that's how it all started for me, with the reading. But lately, I've been putting off the motivational speaking.
Hmm.
I've just been on the books, and if I'm on, like today, man, today I was like, hey, I got some time to kill, and I don't need to do anything
Yeah.
else. So I sat down and caught up on Naruto.
Oh yeah, that's my
Yeah,
that's my show.
yeah,
I'm a
man. And
big nerd.
I was watching. Yeah, I was watching it for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, this feels so
Oh
good,"
yeah.
because I've put it on before, and I'm like, I could be working on researching. I could be working on
Exactly.
podcasting. I could be doing this,
Exactly.
And then now I'm finally caught up with everything, and I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, I
Hey,
can actually
let's
do.
do
Yeah,
it. Yep. I'm the same way. I'm actually a big time dude. And so I find out, and I love movies and TV shows. And I was like, you know what? I can sacrifice the time because everybody, they at least go home and watch an hour TV show or something like that. I
exactly.
was like, you know what? What can I be doing with that hour? Can I be doing my research? Can I be getting stuff done? Can I read 2 to 3 chapters within that hour? And so that goes back to the whole point of people have time. It's just what
Exactly.
they do it with.
And man, I think one of the biggest thing right now for my generation, it would definitely have to be the fact that we sleep a lot.
Yes, we do.
you
We
know
we love our sleep in our generation.
exactly. But I have actually like I've been able to do it before, therefore I know I can do it now. I've been trying to retrain my brain to
Mhm.
when we I was back in basic training with the army, man.
Mhm.
They would mess with us so much that we would end up getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yep.
And I remember I went back to that the whole mindset of like I only need 5 hours of
Mhm.
sleep to live, you know.
Yeah.
So whether it's like going to Planet Fitness at
Mhm.
2 in the morning because I know
Mhm.
I can work out till 3, sleep from 3:30 till like till
Eight
8
something. Yeah.
yeah, and all that kind of stuff, I can still go through with it. And man, I have a water bottle next to where I sleep just so I can chug it in the morning when I
Yeah.
wake up and be like, okay, I have to get up and
I
use the
have to.
restroom,
Yeah.
things like that. But that's no, man, like that's awesome. I love your story. I love everything that comes with it. And now I'm super excited for the personal fitness side of
I
things to come
know,
in.
man. I'm super excited, man. I mean, I should have had time for it a long time ago, but now I'm making time for it, and I'm so happy that this thing is really gonna about to be launched. So
Sweet. I'm super excited. I'll be house. Keep the lookout for it. But man, let's end the podcast like always, bro. What is your message to the people out there who either don't think they have time or want to make the change in their life, whether it's spiritually or physically?
hmm
And the message out there to pretty much like anybody who's struggling.
yeah. Um, this night now this is how my brain works. I'm kind of crazy, but I think the biggest thing for me is fear. If you fear not being successful, if you fear not having a successful relationship or marriage, or you fear of not getting something done, then I promise you, you have to have some type of paranoia to your success. That's what kind of just helped me get through things. I had the fear of, not making my gains. So I need to make sure I wake up or go to the gym no matter how late it is to get those gains. And, just keep going, keep driving, and in the day, no matter what happens, this is your journey. This is your car. This is your vehicle. You can go wherever you want to go, wherever you put your mind to. it can happen, and you the most important message too is you are who you hang out with. Just me being on this podcast with you, Fernando. I just know that us by talking about success, we're going to be successful people. And so really just kind of really change your surroundings, change the people you listen to, change your music. I think that's the most important part is really just changing your music and change one thing I learned is for the most part that uh, most the things that you say, how you feel, how you move, and stuff like that is based off the people around you. You only use 5% of your brain that is actually conscious. So everything else that is kind of what you're listening to and being around really affects who you really are. And so I feel like that's the biggest thing that I can really just kind of tell y'all guys is really just change your surroundings.
Sweet. You are who you hang around.
You are literally.
All right, man. So any shout outs before we end the podcast?
Yeah, shout out to my wife, of course. The love of my life. Shout out to my brother that is serving in Iraq and all the troops that is serving as well. Shout out to Elevated Vision Apparel. I love the familia. I love the vibe. Part of EVA. Shout out to Jimmy Pompa for being a great mentor and
Yes,
stuff like
sir.
that. And just shout out to all the people that really just kind of been there for me and supported me through my journey and really understand my testimony. And y'all can also follow me on Instagram, B_Lyons93. And then if y'all want to get some cool gear from EVA, it's not just apparel, but and so you can kind of use my promo code at Lions15 to get 15% off discount.
Sweet, man. Yeah, I'll leave everything down in the description below. Barry, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And once again, M&T Professional Cleaning Service, San Antonio, Austin, or Houston area. Check them out. Until the next one, guys. See you later.